Good morning, students. Today we are going to start a new topic, that is blood. Blood contains many components like red blood cells, white blood cells, plasma, platelets. These all combine together and make a blood. Here you can see the red blood cells, the white blood cells, platelets, this yellowish color material is plasma. So these all components combine together and make a blood. Our body contains 5.5 liters blood. It's a very much amount which our body contains. So our blood having a red color, as you know. Do you know why our body having a red color? Because red blood cells are in more quantity than white blood cells. That's why our blood is having a red color. So let's discuss one by one about plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets and what's their function. So let's talk about plasma first. As I said, plasma is a yellowish component of the blood. It contains different components. It contains the waste from the intestine. It contains urea. It contains carbon dioxide. It contains hormones. So it contains many different substances. Those are dissolved in it. Because plasma mostly is a water. And in this water, there are many components. Due to that, it having a yellowish color. Plasma is about 55% of our blood. 1% and different percent have for white blood cells, red blood cells, platelets, but the plasma having a 55% of our blood. If you are going to centrifuge the blood, you can see the red blood cells separate out from the plasma, and then you can observe that plasma having a yellow color, because when it is mixed with the red blood cell, it looks like a red color. But when you centrifuge it in a centrifugation machine, that machine separates the more denser from the lighter and less denser material. So in this way, red blood cells settle down at the bottom and the plasma will float at the top. So then you can observe the color of the plasma. Otherwise, it looks like red when you see your blood. Next, we having a red blood cell, the most important portion. What is the function of red blood cells? As we know, the red blood cells are red in color, the circular in shape, the round in shape, and thick from the corners and thin from the center. This structure of red blood cell is due to increase the surface area. In this way, the surface area will increase. Why we need a more surface area in red blood cell? Because we have to make it more functional to carry oxygen, because red blood cells take oxygen from the lungs and provide to the whole body parts, to all the body parts. So its function is to carry oxygen. So if there is a more surface area, then more oxygen will be carried by the red blood cells, and the more oxygen will be provided to the cells of the different organs of the body to do their function, to do the respiration. So how it works, let's see. Here you can see in this figure. Red blood cells, these are the red blood cells. These red blood cells carry oxygen from the lungs. How these red blood cells carry oxygen? These red blood cells contain chemical. That chemical is made up of protein, is named as hemoglobin. Hemoglobin. This hemoglobin on the red blood cells take oxygen and move towards the body. It provides oxygen to the different cells of the organs. Here you can see the stomach, the liver. So these red blood cells give oxygen to the different organs of the body. Now, when these red blood cells having oxygen, it is called as oxyhemoglobin. Oxyhemoglobin. But when this oxygen is released to the cells of the different organs, now it becomes hemoglobin again. Hemoglobin. When this hemoglobin having oxygen, it is called as oxyhemoglobin. When this oxygen is released to the cells of the different organs, now it becomes hemoglobin. Now these cells do not have oxygen. These red blood cells again move towards the lungs to take more oxygen. Next, we having a white blood cell. White blood cells are also called as leukocytes. Red blood cells are also called as erythrocytes. What is the function of white blood cells? White blood cells are basically our immune system. These white blood cells provide us immunity. As we said, I having a more immunity, I can beat the different microorganism, I can survive in different diseases. Why we can say this? Because of the white blood cells, that how much functional our white blood cells are, how much they destroy the microorganism which causes diseases. So white blood cells having a main function to eat microbes. Microbes, those organisms which we cannot see by our naked eyes. We need a microscopes of different nature, like electron microscope to see these microbes, compound microscopes to see these microbes. So white blood cell destroy, white blood cells eat these microbes. White blood cells also produce antibodies or antitoxins. Antibodies or antitoxins. What is the function of antibodies and antitoxins? Antibodies destroy microorganisms and antitoxins destroy poisons. If there are poisonous substances produced by the microorganism, then these antitoxins destroy these poisonous substances, because microorganisms produce some kind of toxins. These toxins can affect us, cause diseases. So these antitoxins destroy those poisons and antibodies destroy the microorganism. How it works? Here you can see. And these are the white blood cells in the blood. Here you can see how white blood cells work. These are the white blood cells. All the white blood cells surround the microorganism, this invader who entered in our body through our mouth, through our nose, through our wound. So these microorganisms, these invaders are surrounded by the white blood cells. Like police surround the criminal to catch him. In the same way, white blood cells surround the microorganism and come closer towards the microorganism and make a curve like this and engulf, eat this invader. Here you can see the white blood cell has eaten this invader. Now this microorganism is inside the white blood cell. Now white blood cell will produce different kind of chemicals to destroy this microorganism, to destroy this invader. So red blood cells provide oxygen to our body. White blood cell destroy the microorganisms, the bacteria, the different kind of microorganisms which cause diseases. Next, move towards platelets. What is the function of platelets? Platelets is also a part of our blood. So what is the function of platelets? Platelets are also called as thrombocytes. Red blood cells are also called as erythrocytes. White blood cells are also called as leukocytes, and platelets are also called as thrombocytes. These are the other names of these components of the blood. Why platelets having a very important function? White platelets help to clot the blood. When you face any kind of wound, any kind of cut, due to that cut, your blood could be waste. So these platelets make a clot on that cut, and due to that clot, our blood is prevented to be lost. Clear? So these platelets form a clot to prevent the bleeding, to stop the bleeding. If you face any kind of cut on your skin, these platelets quickly come in a function and stop the blood from wastage, prevent bleeding by making a clot. And here you can see the structure of the platelets. Platelets are look like this, having a fibers on its skin. Let's see its function, how it works. Look here in this figure. Here you can see the cut is formed on the skin and the red blood cells are start moving outside. Here you can see. When the blood start moving outside, platelets quickly come on that spot and make a fibers. Here you can see the fibers are formed. So the fibers are formed on the point of the cut. When the fibers, the net is formed on the point of the cut, then all the blood cells stuck on those fibers. And when all the blood cells stuck on those fibers, they make a clot. These red blood cells make a clot when they captured in the fibers. Due to that, they make a hard scab, and after some time this scab is removed and our skin is recovered. In this way, platelets help to prevent the loss of the blood. This is all about our today's topic. So now you all have to do your written work related to this topic.